Well, we're here today and we're almost ankle deep in peat. And the reason is because of this man on the right-hand side, Mr. Alan Dawson. Hi, Alan. What's the significance of us being here today?
Well, it's the first survey that I've attended, so it's all new and quite fascinating for me, trying to find out whether this hill's got 150 metres drop or not from Col to summit, and if it has, then it becomes a new Marilyns and a new Graham, which would be big news for those of us who are interested in that sort of thing. And so far we've got the equipment set up and we're just going to let it roll, but it's going to be very close. We've plodded around in this peat for a couple of hours and found some firm ground to set up the equipment. So I'm enormously impressed with what I've seen of these guys at work so far, including yourself.
Now, you mentioned the Grahams. Now, you're the compiler and the custodian of the Graham's List, aren't you?
That's true, yes.
Now, what are the Grahams?
Grahams are Scottish hills between 610 metres and 762 metres in height, with a drop of 150 metres or more all round. So
now, you also mentioned the Marilyns, of course, didn't you? And they're, excuse me, they're part of the relative hills of Britain book, aren't they?
Yes, well, the Marilyns and the relative hills of Britain are effectively the same thing, and the Grahams are merely one small subset of those, whereas there are 1556 Marilyns now. There are only 224 Grahams, so you're only about a sixth of the Marilyns are Grahams. So they just happen to occupy a particular height band that's in one of the traditional over 2,000 feet, so that's traditionally regarded as a mountain in Britain.
So to an extent, this hill, or the Bilach that we're on, with a hill in the background, which is
Meall Cala.
Meall Cala, it's quite a rarity, isn't it? Because it's a sub-Marilyn at the moment, but also a Graham top.
That's true, yes it is.
So if it was over 150 metres of reascent from the Bilach up to the summit, it would become a new Marilyn as well as a new Graham.
That's right, yes. So it wouldn't be a sub-Marilyn, it wouldn't be a Graham top, it'd be promoted to a full Marilyn and a full Graham. Lovely.
Now I'll just pan around, and we've got the two surveyors here. Here's Graham and here's John. I'll just pan down. This is the Leica 530, the equipment that's been set up. And you can see the conditions that it's in. It's just a mass of peat and quagmire and sticky boot stuff. So there we go, John and Graham. How long have we been up here, pottering around, trying to ascertain the correct placement of the equipment?
Probably for about the best part of 2 or 3 hours, I think.
And have you encountered a bulk or a Bilach like this one before?
Many times, but never surveyed them. I think this is the most difficult survey of a Bialach that we've attempted to date.
So what sort of compounded that difficulty?
Soft peat, the groughs superimposed upon the line of the coal, and it makes it very difficult therefore to know where the highest low point is.
And if I had to put you on the spot for the margin of error in the placement of the Leica 530 where it now stands, what margin of error would you say it is compared to where the true Bilach is? Because there is always a margin of error, isn't there, within especially placements of Bilachs or bulks?
Normally with Bialachs we quote a margin of error of the order of 10 centimetres, 15 centimetres. There have been extreme cases where it's been thick heather, where it's been higher than that. But generally it's in the order of sort of 10-15 centimetres error that we would expect. Not done the measurements on this, but my gut feel is that we would be no better than half a metre for this at best. Yeah,
and to an extent, unless you spent literally hours upon hours, if not days up here, there's no other way to do it, is there? You can only go so far, and then because of the time factor, you have to do as best as you can, and wherever, because to ascertain this point, you've flagged various gully systems, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right, and to within the time scale that we've been able to work, this is a very reasonable attempt at the position of the Bialach. When we've got the height for the hill and the height for this position on the Bialach and we know what the height difference is, that will indicate to us whether the job we've done is good enough, or whether, in order to be certain of the hill, whether we would ever need to come back and resurvey the Cala.
Now, John, normally for OS verification, I believe it's 2 hours that you have to collect data for. But of course, with Alan, the compiler and the custodian of the list, I believe half an hour is satisfactory.
Well, you only need 2 hours really if you want to go for maximum error. But as you can see from the conditions of the Balak around here, the error in the position is much greater than the error in the machinery. So there is no point in collecting vast amounts of data to get to the nearest millimetre when we can only estimate it anyway to the nearest half metre.
So after you've collected half an hour, the equipment obviously stores the data.
Yep.
Dismantled, and where are you going then?
Straight up the top and repeat the exercise, but
So-
hopefully more simply.
So how many metres do you think, Alan, is the ascent from this point to there? 149 or 150?
It's looking like about 149.6327315, I think, at the moment. Oh, it's just changed again now. It's 149.72. But it's not got as far as 150 yet. So.
But again, when we reach the summit, the equipment will be put up on the highest point, won't it?
That should be an easier job.
Yeah.
And that's also, it's slowly sinking into the bog as we're here. So as we get lower.
Heights changing all the time.
So that's going to be another half an hour data collection on the summit?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm rather slow, I'm going to stop recording now, finish off my sandwich, collect the remainder of the flags, and if it's all right with everybody, I'm going to have a very slow plod up to the top, because I'm sure everybody's going to catch me up. So many, many thanks, gents. So we may do another little bit on the summit. Cheers.
Okay, see you on the...
Thanks. Oh, hello. Slowly plodding uphill. I feel absolutely worn out. This is the third day we've been up in Scotland, and although I'm not carrying any of the surveying gear except for the flags, my rucksack feels like it's carrying it. It's got inside a ton of bricks. We've just surveyed a Belach with Alan Dawson, and we're now very slowly heading up towards the summit. It's currently sub Marilyn and a Graham top, and if it proves to have at least 150 metres, it will be reclassified as a Marilyn and a Graham. It doesn't help me trying to get to the top of it though. Right, I think that's enough sweat and exhaustion for the moment. I feel as if somebody's batted me around the body with a baseball bat. Right, I'm going to sign off until the summit. Bye. As you can see, we're no longer on Meall Cala, and we didn't do any filming on the summit because I was too exhausted and I flopped down. But we thought it would be quite good as a retrospective to give the survey result. Now, we gathered data at the Belach and the summit, we post-processed that data, and remarkably, the data came out exactly the same as current map heighting, and that is, for the Belach, 5 to 5.0 metres, and for the summit, 674.0 metres. Now that gives an overall reascent or prominence of 149 metres. So Meall Cala does not become a full-fledged Marilyn and a Graham. It remains a Graham top and a sub-Marilyn.